Hey y'all, this is Kevin from the Tuesday Uke group. This is the first week or the first chapter of our Tuesday Uke Camp. So this is a very basic introduction to the ukulele. We start right at the beginning, how to hold it, how to do chords, how to strum. It's the goal of this camp or this set of classes is to get people comfortable playing in a group with other people so they can go to things like the Tuesday Ukulele Group or the Austin Ukulele Society and really have fun. So that's the goal. Once you get there, once you're playing chords and singing songs and strumming the ukulele, there's a whole world of things you can do with the ukulele, but this will just get us started. So I'm glad you're here. We're doing these because of the virus, but we'll go ahead and leave them online for people to review. You can get the Uke Camp book on the Tuesday Ukulele's website, and that's available to download along with the videos. Okay, let's start out. Let me switch the screen here. I'm going to, let's see. I'm going to turn off this thing. So, there we go. So to start out with, let's just talk about the ukulele and the parts of the ukulele. So this is a ukulele, and there's different parts. So up here at the top, this part here with these tuning pegs hanging out of it, it's called the head. This little white thing across here is called the nut. And then down here, this is the neck. These wires that go across the neck are called frets. Although when we talk about frets, we're not really talking about these wires. We're talking about the space in between the wires. So the neck goes down here and it meets the body. So this curvy part is the body. This is the sound hole right here in the middle. Down at the bottom is the saddle. That's where the strings are attached. And on the saddle is this other white thing that's called the bridge. Now the nut and the bridge, on mine they're white. On most ukuleles they're white, sometimes they're black. Those are really important because that determines the length of the string and what notes it will be able to hold a tune on, what pitches. Okay. So there's numbers on the ukulele. So if we look at a ukulele, you think about somebody holding the ukulele. The strings are numbered from the floor up. So it's the string closest to the floor is the first string. The next one is the second string. The next one's the third string. The next one's the fourth string. So it's like the floors in a building. The bottom one is the lowest number, and the top one is the highest number. 1, 2, 3, 4. Those are the numbers on the strings. Now, the frets are numbered from the nut down to the sound hole. So this space between the nut and the first wire is fret 1. And the space between the second and third wire is fret 2. The space between the third and fourth wire is fret 3. I'm actually in the wrong spot. And the one between the fourth and fifth frets is fret 5. One of the things about the fifth fret, there's usually a dot there to indicate that you're on the fifth fret. And sometimes there's a dot, I don't know if you can see it, on the side of the neck, which is very handy. It'll just help you figure out where you are on the ukulele. So we use the numbers on the ukulele to spell chords. And this is really important if you're in a ukulele group. Excuse me. If you're in a ukulele group and there's a chord that people don't know, the person leading the group will usually spell the chord, and they'll say something like 0003. Now what that means is we start with the string that's closest to your head, which is the fourth string, and when you spell it, you say which fret is going to be pressed to make that chord. So if you say 0, that means no frets are pressed. 0. And then the next one is the next string down, 0. And the next one is the next string down, 0. 3, you press the third fret on the first string. 0, 0, 0, 3. 0, 0, 0, 3. That's a C chord. And you'll hear throughout this, and when hopefully we get together in person and we go through these, you'll hear the chords being spelled a lot, because it's a great way to communicate about what you need to do on the ukulele. Otherwise, you're saying, well, put your finger here and put your other finger here, and it's hard to communicate. And if you can see here, it's really hard to tell where somebody's fingers are on the fretboard. It's very difficult because everything is so close in there. So spelling the chords is a great way to communicate that. Okay, let's talk about holding the ukulele. So we're going to take the ukulele, we're going to put our right hand, I'm assuming everybody's right-handed, take our right hand and hold it here by the neck. We're going to take the bottom part of the uke, this round part, we're going to set it on our leg. I know you can't see my leg, but I'm just setting the ukulele here next to my knee. And hold it kind of upright and relax. Take your left arm and let it hang down at your side. Let it relax. Shake your hand a little bit. Let your fingers relax. Just relax, relax, relax. This is all about relaxing. And then take your arm and just raise it up where it feels comfortable. Don't go to any particular spot. Just raise it up to where it feels comfortable. Now you want to have your fingers spread like this. You don't stretch them out, just nice and relaxed. But the important part here is the space between your thumb and your finger. So put your arm back down, wiggle your fingers. When you raise your hand, have your thumb point at your ear. So your hand comes up like this. So your thumb is kind of pointed towards your ear. Now take your ukulele, and on the back, if you notice, where the neck and the head come together, there's a kind of rounded out part there. That's really important because that's where we're going to fit the ukulele. So let's start again. So I'm going to take my ukulele, I'm going to set it here on my knee, on my leg, hang my left arm down, I'm going to relax, wiggle the fingers, wiggle my fingers, raise my hand up with my fingers spread out, and then I'm going to take my ukulele and I'm just going to let it sit between my thumb and my finger. It's just going to sit in there. And my thumb and my finger are like next to the nut, the white part. We don't want it up here, don't want it up too high, don't want it down here. We want it right at the nut. Want your thumb sticking up on one side and the finger on the other side. The other thing that's important, you want to keep the front of the ukulele facing your audience. See how you can see my sound hole? So think about somebody in front of you being able to see the sound hole on your ukulele so they can hear it. If you're like this, the people over there can't hear it. And you don't want to get in the habit of looking at the fingerboard to try to figure out what to do. So you want it facing out like this. And you want your hand to be perpendicular to the neck of the ukulele. So if you look at your finger here, I can't do it. I can't get in a position for you to see that. If you look at your finger, you should just see the side of your finger. You should not see the palm of your hand. Right? That's important because if you look, by having your hand this way with your fingers parallel to the neck, your wrist is nice and straight. That's what you want to have. You want to have a nice straight wrist. If your wrist is cocked around like this, you're going to hurt yourself. You could get this, playing the ukulele is a repetitive motion activity, and you could develop carpal tunnel if you have a bad hand position on your fretting hand, on the fingering hand. Okay, let's do that one more time. So we've got our ukulele on our right leg, put our left arm down, wiggle our fingers, relax, raise your hand, let your ukulele fall right between your thumb and your first finger. Make sure your hand's parallel to the neck. Now we're going to take our fingers, 1, 2, 3, 4, and we're going to set them down on the first string of the ukulele. So this is the string that's closest to the floor. We're just going to lay them down in order. 1, 2, 3, 4. Don't worry about being on any particular fret or anything. Just reach down and touch the string. Then raise them back up, wiggle your fingers, relax, and then bring them back down. 1, 2, 3, 4. Raise them up, keep your hand parallel, bring them back down. 1, 2, 3, 4. Great, raise them up. So when you're starting the ukulele, what I would recommend, don't practice more than 10 minutes at a time. You can do it 2 or 3 times a day if you want, but only practice for 10 minutes at a stretch. And every time you sit down to play the ukulele, go through this. Set it on your knee, put your arm down, let it relax, raise your hand up, set the ukulele in there between your thumb and your finger, and bring your fingers down. 1, 2, 3, 4. Raise them up, wiggle your fingers. 1, 2, 3, 4. Raise them up, wiggle your fingers. 1, 2, 3, 4. Do that every time you sit down with the ukulele. If you do that for a couple of weeks, it'll all become second nature, and you'll have a good hand position that will allow you to play easily and to avoid any kind of repetitive motion injuries. Okay, so if we have the ukulele like this, we've got our fingers ready to play, finger the frets and do whatever we need to do. Let's talk about strumming. So strumming, to strum, there's a lot of ways to strum. We're going to start with this. So make a pointer, put your thumb up. I put it where you can see it. Put your thumb up and your finger out and point at some stuff. Point at me, point at your head, point at the door, point at the dog. Then bring your hand back and point where the body and the neck of the ukulele come together, right? Right there, right where they come together. So it's where the body's here, and here's the neck, so it's right here. That's where you want to strum. When you're starting out, you want to strum right there because that's where you get the most goodie. It's about the middle of the string, and when you strum there, more energy gets picked up by the string than if you strum down here or strum up here. So start out playing right where the body and the neck come together. So you have that pointer, you point there where the neck and the body come together, and the way you're going to strum is you're just going to bring your finger across the strings with the nail. So the nail's going to hit the strings. And the motion, you don't have to move your arm in a big motion. The motion is rotating your wrist. It's kind of like the royal wave. Rotate your wrist. And when you're starting, what you want to do is focus on getting a nice tone across all the strings and hitting all the strings. You want to just hit a couple. You want to hit all of them. You don't have to strum hard. Just slowly down. So that's a down strum. And in musical context, that's going to be a quarter note strum. And we can count it like this. So we're going to do the same strum, and it's counted 1, 2, 3, 4. Down, 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 down. 1, 2, 3, 4. Down, 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 down. 1, 2, 3, 4. Down, 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 down. Great. Okay, so let's look at a chord diagram. Turn this back on. Well, I've lost my, hold on a second, we have technical issues here. I'm going to have to restart my little program that lets me show you the chord diagrams. Hold on a second. Sorry about this. If we were together in the classroom, I would still be having this problem. Okay, here we go. Okay, sorry about that. So, you'll see a lot of these as you play the ukulele. This is a chord diagram. So there's a few things here. The chord diagram, if you look at the top of the ukulele, is really a schematic of the ukulele. So this heavy bar at the top of the diagram is the nut, is like the white part of our ukulele, the white, it's that bone or plastic piece at the top of the fretboard. The lines that are going horizontally represent the frets as you move down the neck. The lines that are vertical represent the strings. So when you look at this chord diagram, the line that's farthest to the left, to your left, is the fourth string in the ukulele. The next one's the third string, second string, and the first string. The line on the right is the first string. So it's like you're looking, you turn your ukulele and you look at the fretboard. You're looking at your fretboard. 1, 2, 4, 3, 2, 1. Those are the strings. So the little circles at the top there, what they tell you is you don't finger any frets on that string, but you play it. So this chord, we already spelled it, this is a C chord. So it's open, 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 and then we're going to fret the third fret on the first string. Open, 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 or 0, 0, 0, 3. Open, 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 3, 0, 0, 0, 3. A lot of times in a chord diagram, at the bottom, there'll be a number, and that number is a suggestion of which finger to use to fret that string. It's just a suggestion. You can do it that way, or use another finger. The fingering really, once you start changing chords and things, the fingering really is dependent on what comes before and what comes after. So don't worry about that fingering right now. So let's work on fingering this chord. So we're going to play this chord. So when you finger, when I say you're going to finger as a fret, what I mean is the third fret is between the second and third wires here, or the second and third frets. That's the third fret. And just take any finger you want. I would use my third finger, just out of habit, but you can use your first finger, your second finger. You use your little finger, you're an advanced student. And just place that finger on that string. Don't push down, just set it on the string. And pluck at it with your thumb. And it should sound kind of dead. And then slowly press down until it starts playing a note. One of the things you should notice is how lightly you can press and have that note play. One of the things every ukulele player does is they press too hard. And the reality is, if you look at the strings on your ukulele, look at it sideways. When you press down on a string, you don't have to make it touch the wood. All you have to do is make it touch the fret wire that's closer to the sound hole. That's all you have to do. So you never have to press so hard on the string that it hurts your finger. I'll say that, but I'll do it, and you will, and every ukulele player in the world will do that, because it's just some natural inclination. If it doesn't sound right, to press harder. If if a note does not sound right, usually what that means is you're too close to the fret. If you push your finger up onto the fret, it'll make it sound like this. Or you're too low. So if you're on the fret behind it, you'll get a sound like that. You want to be kind of in the middle of the fret. Excuse me. Okay, let's do a song. So I think most people know this song, Are You Sleeping? Bring it up here. I'm going to change the view so we can get a little bigger here. Okay. This song, it has one chord in it. It has a C chord. And we're going to use the quarter note strum. So it's just a down strum. So it's down, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, down, 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 down. Ready? 2, 3, 4. Are you sleeping? Are you sleeping? Brother John, Brother John. Morning bells are ringing, morning bells are ringing. Ding, dang, dong, ding, dang, dong. 1, 2, 3, 4. Are you sleeping? Are you sleeping? Brother John, Brother John. Morning bells are ringing, morning bells are ringing. Ding, dang, dong, ding, dang, dong. 1, 2, 3, 4. Are you sleeping? Are you sleeping? Brother John, Brother John. Morning bells are ringing, morning bells are ringing. Ding, dang, dong, ding, dang, dong. Good. So that's a lot of strumming practice, and it's a lot of practice on the C chord. If you were pressing really hard, the tip of your finger may hurt now. One of the secrets is when you're playing a song like this, to relax your left hand. So I'm strumming, and then when I'm not strumming, I'm letting my finger relax, so I'm not really pressing hard on this. So you're not pressing down the whole time. That will help a little bit. Now, a little note about this kind of nomenclature. So when you see a song sheet for ukulele, many times, the way you'll see it, the chord will be indicated by square brackets and the name of the chord. Hopefully, in most sheets, they'll have the chord diagrams somewhere on the sheet. Usually ours are there at the top. You may also see song sheets where it has the chords, but it's just a letter above the words. They do the same thing. They just tell you where in the song to play the chords. In our case, it's pretty simple because we're doing one chord in the whole song. Okay. I know that's a simple song, but it's really good practice. One of the key things with the ukulele is having a nice steady strum. It needs to be kind of like a metronome or a clock. Tick, 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 tick. You want it to be steady. And songs like this are great for practicing that. Okay, we'll do one more song. We'll do The Farmer in the Dell. It's another song from our childhoods. It's the same chord. It's the C chord. 0, 0, 0, 3. Excuse me. We're going to use the quarter note strum. 1, 2, 3, 4. I'm going to take a drink of water because I'm about to cough. I don't have the virus. I have seasonal allergies. Okay, ready? We're gonna do this song. I'm gonna strum the quarter note strum. In this case, the words are gonna scroll up the screen. Hopefully, I'll 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, ready, go. The farmer in the dell. The farmer in the dell. Hi-ho the dairy-o, the farmer in the dell. The farmer takes a wife, the farmer takes a wife. Hi-ho the dairy-o, the farmer takes a wife. The wife takes the child, the wife takes the child. Hi-ho the dairy-o, the wife takes the child. The child takes the nurse, the child takes the nurse. Hi-ho the dairy-o, the child takes the nurse. The nurse takes the cow, the nurse takes the cow. Hi-ho the dairy-o, the nurse takes the cow. The cow takes the dog, the cow takes the dog. Hi-ho the dairy-o, the cow takes the dog. The dog takes the cat, the dog takes the cat. Hi-ho the dairy-o, the dog takes the cat. Nice. Okay, that's all we have this week. You can look at the book. There's actually another song in the book in the first chapter that you can go ahead and try. The main thing that I would like people to walk away with this week is how to hold the ukulele. Put it on your leg. Let it relax your arm. Bring it up just where it feels good. Spread your fingers. Let the ukulele drop in there. Make sure the sound hole is facing your audience, and then bring your fingers down. 1, 2, 3, 4. Bring them up. Wiggle your fingers. Down. 1, 2, 3, 4. Up. Wiggle your fingers. 1, 2, 3, 4. Now, as you do this, one of the things you can do is, not at the beginning, but after you've done it for a few days, try to bring your fingers down within the fret. So your first finger in the first fret, your second finger in the second fret, your third finger in the third fret, and your fourth finger in the fourth fret. And I'll give you a hint. The sooner you can make your little finger participate in what you're doing, the easier a lot of things become. We don't use our little fingers a lot. And fingering, especially on the ukulele, using that little finger will really help with a lot of chord changes. So that's all I got. Check out the website, and I'll see you all next week. Thanks. Bye.